Hello and welcome to Salubrious Skin with Dr. Irene. Today I'm talking about your body clock and how Mother Nature's way of guiding us to optimal health. Now, do you wake up at 2 a.m. every night? Do you find that it's hard to digest food at 1:30 in the afternoon versus 12 o'clock in the afternoon? Or do you feel really sleepy around 3 o'clock and just can't seem to shift that fatigue? Now, in Chinese medicine, we believe we're very much connected with nature. We're in line with the seasonal changes that occur in our environment, the same changes occur in our body, and also we are actually changing in a 24-hour period based on the 12 meridian system. Now, if you haven't heard of the meridian network, these are tiny channels that connect our entire body from the outside in, front, back, top, bottom. Our entire body is connected by these small channels. And in actual fact, probably about 15 years ago, there was some breakthrough research that identified physiological communications happening within these channel network. So it actually found these channels create different communication with other channels that lead to optimal health or possibly disease if these channels are obstructed or if there's any blockages. So with these channels in mind, our day, our 24-hour day, is segmented into 2-hour block periods. And so each of those 2-hour blocks corresponds to a meridian. And that will create a certain need in your body, will create a certain effect in your body that needs to be nurtured in order for you to have optimal health. So that's what I'm going to go through today. All these 12 periods and what is the best thing to do in each of these times and what you perhaps shouldn't do if you can avoid it. So let's start with the large intestine meridian, which is from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. Now, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. is most of the time when we wake up in the morning. And the prior periods have actually created the waste that we're about to eliminate from our bowels. And by drinking a little bit of warm water in this time, that will instigate a bit of peristalsis to happen in our large intestine and eliminate our stools. Now, if you're finding that it's hard to eliminate stools effectively, what this could be leading to is a bit of skin problems because we can't eliminate toxins effectively, GI tract issues, sluggish sensation overall, emotional issues, anxiety, and all that sort of thing. So it's important to have a real healthy elimination of our stools. Next period of time is from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., which is a stomach meridian. Now, this is the time we have our breakfast, and it's really important to have a warm breakfast when you have your first meal of the day. And the reason is that the stomach loves warmth. It actually hates cold. But the problem is that many of us are actually turning to smoothies. They're very quick, they're easy, we know they're nutritious, they're packed full of vegetables and fresh produce and fruits, and some people put frozen raspberries in them, a bit of milk or water, and you think, wow, that's a really nice, jam-packed, nutritious breakfast. The issue is that it's cold. And really, it's really, really important to have a warm breakfast because when that food hits the stomach, that will actually instigate digestion. If it's cold, we say it injures the digestion. It can actually cause a stomach upset. It can cause bloating, indigestion, reflux, belching, all that sort of stuff. So it's really important to have a warm breakfast. If you do want to go down the road of a smoothie, what you could use is almond milk and heat up the almond milk, or you can possibly have a bit of warm water instead of the cold water. Leave the fruit room temperature or the vegetables room temperature. The other thing, you can put a little bit of ginger in there because that's actually a very warm vegetable. And so you can actually add that to your smoothie and not have it every single day. Maybe every fourth day. So maybe once to twice a week. Don't do this every day. You can alternate breakfasts with eggs with spinach. You can have muesli or porridge. You can have pancakes. We've got a delicious brown rice pancake mix that we have in our cookbook. So a nice pancakes with probably some stewed fruit to put over the top, which is delicious, nice and warm and nurturing for the stomach. Now, it's important to also eat slowly. If you're eating in a rush, that's going to cause indigestion. Now, if you do get indigestion, typical symptoms, reflux, as I said, indigestion, belching, stomach upset, bloating, and all that sort of thing. So what you can do is have some chamomile tea. That's going to help with relaxing the smooth muscle in the stomach, which will relax the sphincter and also relax the reflux and indigestion. You also can have a little bit of green tea and peppermint tea that will promote digestion, so help you with processing your food. And in actual fact, research has identified that green tea, when consumed on a daily basis, reduces your chances of getting cancer by 50%. So green tea is a great one to incorporate into your morning. Now, the next stage is from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., which is the spleen. Now, in Chinese medicine, we talk about the spleen as being the digestion. So it's a physical spleen, but it's also the digestion. So the next phase is you processing your food. The spleen takes the food and takes the nutrients and sends it on, and then takes the waste and sends that on as well. So it actually transforms the food into nutrients and waste, and then transports it to where it needs to go. So really important to not stress during this time, which essentially stress is not beneficial at any time. But, if you are stressed during this 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. period, you will find that you will have digestive issues. Digestive issues can translate into malabsorption, stool issues, loose stools, diarrhea, obesity, anorexia, dizziness, brittle nails, dry, frayed hair, all that sort of thing. So it's really important to allow your body to receive the nutrients it needs to receive from the food that you're eating. So what you can do actually to improve your spleen is eat barley, buckwheat, and various grains, sweet potatoes, yams, carrots, jasmine and basmati rice, and avoid greasy fatty food, spicy hot food, sugar, and cold raw food. And exercise is a great way to protect your spleen as well. So the next phase, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m., is a heart meridian. Now, this is a great time to have a nap, actually. And in China, we were sent home because I went to China for my final year of my degree, and that was our internship. And every day we were sent home around 11:30, and we were told to come back around 2 to 2:30, depending when it was winter or summer. And the doctors would sleep on the beds, and nurses and other staff would go home. Their emergency department was always open, but the rest of the hospital was completely dead, quiet. No one was around. And what they would say to us was, go home and have a nap. This is a great time to have a nap. And, typical, Australian, I would go and do my shopping, or I would clean the house, or I would do something in that time. I certainly didn't rest. And the reality is resting in this time rejuvenates you for the second part of the day. Now, if you're struggling with emotional issues, anxiety, or heart palpitations, this is a real beautiful time to rejuvenate your heart. And so it doesn't need to be from 11 till 1. It can be from 12 for 20 minutes. Or if you can't sleep because perhaps you're at work or school, if you meditate or calm in this period of time, and it can be for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, it will really rejuvenate you and give you that added energy for the second part of the day. So that's 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, the next phase is the small intestine meridian, which is 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Now, the small intestine, its role is to absorb nutrients and send it straight into the bloodstream. And then the waste, it sends it off to the large intestine. Now, you may have heard of the concept of leaky gut syndrome. Many people talk about leaky gut when we're talking about chronic diseases. Psoriasis eczema is one of those common diseases that gets linked to leaky gut. A lot of GI tract issues, irritable bowel, Crohn's, colitis, get linked to leaky gut. And it's certainly been identified as a reason for emotional issues. So when the lining of the small intestine has been affected, it's been inflamed, it becomes porous, what the toxins, instead of being passed down to the large intestine, actually get absorbed into the bloodstream. So this period of time is really important to make sure we're doing the right thing to prevent that from happening. But in the event you do have leaky gut, enjoying some bone broth during this time as a snack will actually be beneficial for you in the day. It will repair the lining of your gut and will actually help with improving the energy later on in the day where you're still needing it because you're technically still at work or at school, or you have to come home after school and do some schoolwork. So bone broth's really great to have during this time. You know, fermented foods, things that improve your gut flora, that will help with the healing of the leaky gut. Now, avoiding foods that you have an intolerance to or allergic to is really, really important at all times, but really specifically important during this time. But technically, at any time, best to avoid those foods. Now, the next meridian is the bladder meridian, so 3 to 5 p.m. Now, this is a time that many of us start to feel really sluggish, tired, need a pick-me-up, and typically that really results from a poor diet, because in actual fact, you should have a burst of energy around 3 o'clock because it's the bladder meridian period of time. So what happens in this situation is that if you have been eating refined carbohydrates or sugars or sweets during the day to give you that energy you feel you need, what goes up must come down. And what's happened is you've got a massive rise of insulin in your bloodstream because of the glucose that's there. And then all the insulin's taken away the glucose, and then you've come back down again. And that process of coming back down is what makes you feel lethargic. So what is ideal to do during the day is to eat low GI foods staggered over the day. So what that's going to do is give you an even keel of glucose in your blood, an even keel of insulin, and then you'll feel your energy nice and stable during the day. So if you do that, in actual fact, this period of time of your day, you will find an increased amount of energy. So make sure you're drinking lots of water during the day, but this is when your water intake should increase because it's the bladder time. And it's also important to nurture your body with exercise and meditation so that the water metabolism is working optimally, which is what the bladder is involved in. Okay, so the next phase is 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., which is the kidney meridian. Now, the kidney meridian's also in charge of the water metabolism. The kidney gathers all the water and sends it off to the bladder, which the bladder will excrete. So if you're feeling quite lethargic, or you've got dark circles under your eyes, or dizziness, there could be a bit of kidney deficiency or adrenal fatigue happening. So it's important to nurture your kidneys. Now, there's a Chinese saying that goes, bathing the feet in a hot bath is more beneficial than eating ginseng. The kidney and liver meridians are situated in the feet. So bathing your feet in warmth means you are nourishing these meridians and essentially nourishing these organs. So this period of time between 5 and 7 will be great to have a foot bath, a nice warm foot bath. You can put a bit of Himalayan rock salt, or you can put Dead Sea salts in there, and that will actually help the kidneys as well. So great time to have a foot bath, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Now, the next phase, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., is a pericardium phase. Now, the pericardium is a sheath, a membrane that wraps around the heart. And in actual fact, it's almost like that it protects the heart. So it takes a brunt of anything that the heart will likely be exposed to. So it really protects the heart from most things. But obviously, significant things will transcend to the heart, but it is forming a sheath around the heart to protect it and nurture it. So, so the emotions that affect the heart, excuse me, go through the pericardium first. So, like I said, it's a bit of a bodyguard for the heart. And so any sort of anger or anxiety will actually go through the pericardium meridian first and then reach the heart. So people with a strong heart have a strong spleen stomach, and people with a weak spleen stomach will have a weak heart. So it's really important to have a strong digestion, because that will impact the heart and help the heart. And so there is a strong correlation. The scientists have found the gut being the second brain. Well, we have always known that association where a good gut gives a good heart, and the heart-mind connection is then optimal as well. Okay, so 9 to 11 is the Sanjiao meridian. In Chinese medicine, Sanjiao, san meaning 3 levels. So upper jiao, middle jiao, and lower jiao. The Sanjiao connects the three levels together. So basically, this is a time we should actually go to sleep. So we should go to sleep between 9 and 11 p.m. And this is to prepare for the next subsequent phases that are about to happen, because you need to be asleep in order for them to work, to happen optimally. So 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. is a gallbladder meridian. So you need to be asleep by 11. If you're not asleep by 11, you actually will get a second wind. You'll get a second burst, because what's happening with the gallbladder is it's preparing its detoxification process that will be followed by the liver meridian at 1 to 3 a.m. So if you're not asleep by 11, you will get your second wind, so to speak, where you get a burst of energy. And the problem is that typically you will then go to sleep after 1, because then that's when the gallbladder meridian has finished doing its thing. Now, if you don't sleep between this time, this is when your bile is metabolizing fats from the food eaten during the day. If you're not doing that, there will be issues around your gallbladder. So, prone to gallbladder stones and issues with metabolizing fats and so forth. So really important to sleep before 11 p.m. Now, 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. is the liver meridian. Liver is detoxifying in this time. If you're not asleep, then it's not going to be detoxifying effectively. And what happens is many people where their liver isn't working optimally will wake up at this time. So they'll be bright and awake, ready to start the day, and they look at their clock and it's 1:30 in the morning, and they possibly can't sleep until they've entered the next phase. So if this is a situation for you, you need to work on improving your liver. This may be something where acupuncture might be very beneficial for you, or meditation, or going for walks, eating bitter foods, incorporating dandelion tea, which nurtures the liver and detoxifies it, doing things that support your liver, having good relationships around you, friendships and conversations, and really having people that feed your soul, that actually feed your liver as well. So this is a 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. And the final one is the lung meridian. Now, the lung meridian is basically, so from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., if you're having any respiratory issues, you might have symptoms come up. So someone might have an asthma attack at this time. If you're getting over a cold, you might have a coughing fit. You might have shortness of breath in your breathing or wheezing. This is the lung time. So it's really important for your body to be asleep at this time, if it can, unless you've been woken up. Now, what the lungs do is receive energy, so receives air, receives chi, and disperses it to the liver, and the liver circulates it throughout the entire body. If this process is not done properly, or you're very much a shallow breather, then you're not going to get the full extent of chi energy from your environment and circulate it throughout your entire body. So I would encourage you to do some breathing exercises to promote that deep sleep during this time. Meditation is a great way to actually increase your breathing exercises, getting that deep breath in instead of the shallow breath, and foods that are white. So white foods include turnips, sesame seeds, bean curd, soy milk, parsnips, white fungus, and snow pear. So anything that's white is great to eat for your lungs. Obviously, you're not going to be eating at 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., but it's something that you can incorporate during your day. So meditation for the lung, deep breathing, breathing exercises, eating white food will actually improve lung health. So that's it. That's your 12 meridians. I hope you've found that beneficial, and hopefully you can utilize some of those tips and improve your health. And be sure to check out our next episode of Salubra Skin with Dr. Irene, as we give you more information about skin health and various tips you can do at home that will get you down the road to better health and happier living. Bye for now.